right, you guys, welcome to Stylist. I'm so excited you're joining us for another episode highlighting these amazing creative people. I'm particularly excited about our guest today, Sara. Is it Rounsavall? Am I saying that right, Sara?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, Sara's a legend, and I've worked with Sara before, and I've actually assisted Sara before on a shoot in Nashville many a year ago. And Sara is really unique in not only her vision and I feel like her perspective on styling, but also her background. I believe Sara started out as a photographer. She has over 20 years of experience in this creative world that we are all in, this wild creative world. And her client list is incredible. I mean, if you have a chance today, please check out her site. I'll put her site in the show notes. But she has done she has worked with such a wide variety and type of client. I mean, she's worked with Papa John's, she's worked with KFC, she's worked with GE Appliances. So she has this big name experience. She's worked with some beautiful Kentucky bourbon companies, but also the, Tourism Board of Kentucky. So she has this beautiful wide breadth of experience that I think we can all really glean from and learn from and hear her take on. So Sara, welcome to Style to Set.
Thank you. I'm super happy to be
Oh,
here.
you're
Thanks
so
so much.
welcome. Yay. So let's start things off, Sara. Can you tell me a little bit about you, about your journey to styling? And when I say styling, I kind of like to say this a lot. Like, I don't feel like Stylist does justice to what you do, Sara, and what we do. I mean, it sort of just scrapes the surface to me of the creative problem solver that you are, for the artist that you are. So I say stylist, but please know that it means you are so much more than just that word. So yeah, tell me about your journey.
Okay, so I would say that this career maybe kind of found me in a weird kind of way. And I didn't really realize it. It's only in reflection back that you think that. But yes, you're right. I was a studio art major in college. I was actually going to college to be a vet. That was my life goal my entire life. And I was very much weeded out of college chemistry. It was a heartbreaking moment of me looking at my peers and being like, I don't think I'm as committed to learning how to balance moles as much as my peers. I just love animals. Yeah. So I kind of had this crisis, and then ended up exploring quite a bit, but really settled in studio art. That just felt right to me. And I think a lot of people don't really encourage, at least of my generation, that wasn't really a career option, because what do you do when you're an artist? You're going to be a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor, like those few things that existed. It's definitely different now. But so as a studio art major, which my brother and I both were, which is kind of hilarious, you get out and you can kind of do anything. And I was really most interested in photography, which was film based, because that's how old I am. Yeah. And so I'm tactile. I like to build things. I like power tools. But right away, when I get out of school, I think, okay, the best way for me to learn is to be working for any photographer in labs so I can develop my own film, and just learning more about the business side of what it really takes to be a photographer. So I worked with lots of different photographers. I was living in Colorado at the time, and then slowly migrated back to Kentucky. I'm a Kentucky native, living in Louisville, and wasn't until I worked with a commercial photographer. I was his full-time employee, which means you have a lot of different roles. But I didn't know that a food stylist was a job at all. I had zero idea, no exposure to that at all. And once you see it, you're like, well, of course someone's responsible for that part of the photo shoot. But I just never really put that together. Wow. So being able to watch, I just kept thinking, that's kind of an interesting position. Not thinking anything of it other than I love food, but I take pictures.
Right, yeah.
Digital photography comes around, and I kind of have another crisis. Like, I don't really want to know about computers. The future of this industry has keeping up to date with all the software and constantly replacing, like the financial end of it. It honestly just really freaked me out. And I'm like, I'm tactile. I like to build. So that's when I started really shifting. Like, could I make food, somehow be involved in this world and not work in a restaurant? Yes. So I kind of started working for food stylists. I started assisting food stylists. I learned by watching. That is how I do things. If I watch it done, I can figure it out.
I'm the same. Yeah.
I've got a dog that might start doing something here in a second.
Girl, that's life. Literally right before I hit record, my dog Bigsby was like barking his, little lungs out for I don't know why. Yeah. So no worries.
I might have to walk away in just a second to give her something else to do. Anyway, so worked for food stylists, and then slowly started getting opportunities to be the lead stylist. And then from there, I'm really fortunate that the town I'm in, there really weren't a lot of stylists.
Mhm.
And I just happened to be coming in at the right time when one of the main stylists was starting to retire out of the business. And it was just this magical, perfect storm
Mm.
where I realized, oh, I think I'm built for this. I'm
Mm.
constructing food structures in front of a camera,
Mhm.
but fully aware of what light does and how the image, what you see on camera is what's most important. It doesn't matter what's happening behind the scenes. I'm not locked into knowing that this isn't really how you braise this meat, but it looks like it's been braised. And that's really all that matters, which is for me has been really freeing.
Mm.
That I don't have that culinary background. Every
Mhm.
now and then I'm like, it could have been helpful, but
Yeah.
really I don't think it's necessary for my role.
Right. And I agree with that because I think so much of food styling, and I love that we're like geeking out on food styling because,
Oh no, we
my
can talk
favorite.
all day.
All day, we could probably go on and on. But I really see so much of our role as food stylist is more of like a food, and I think it's so funny how you said chemistry kind of weeded me out when I really think that it was maybe the wrong kind because I think what we do as stylists is so much of food chemistry and knowing how foods respond to like heat and different types of oils and different treatments on how we could get it to glisten and how long will it glisten and what is the light going to do to this type of whatever we're putting on it, like it's sort of this funky, weird kind of strain of science. So I love how you said you were interested in being a veterinarian in the beginning. And because I think you have that science and art brain that is like come together so beautifully.
Yes.
I think that's super rad. Okay, so now that we're getting into a little bit of the food styling,
Yep.
Sarah, like, okay, y'all, if I just keep going back to her site because I was studying your site last night preparing for today and just was in awe of so many things. But you're gonna see how Sarah has this beautiful ability like this. She talks about building structures. Like you have this epic, it reminds me of a still life cake on your site that I
Oh
think
yeah.
you shot with Kyle Dreyer. Is that the one you did with
I
Kyle?
think you were part of that shoot, actually. I think that was the shoot when I had first met you. Because I
Okay,
came
okay.
down and Kyle's like, I know this girl that would be a great assistant for you. I was like, oh, great. And you were beyond wonderful.
Oh my gosh. Well, I so believe even like as a lead stylist now for, 10 years, I still like to assist other people sometimes because I think we can always learn from each other.
Absolutely.
Stylists are just a wealth of information. But that cake, there's so much to that cake and so many layers. Can you talk me through that? Tell me about the construction of that cake and how you landed on the beautiful dried pear on the top. I don't know. I just love it so much. Can you talk to me about that?
Sure. I so that was a really fun shoot. Kyle, the photographer we both know, kind of just was like, "Hey, I want to hire you, but I just want to hire you to come play. I've got an idea. You bring some ideas, and we'll just play for a day and see what we can get."
What a dream.
What a gift! What a gift! It's so much fun. He's such a gem, but I had this idea. I didn't, sometimes you look at the work you have, and I didn't really have a lot of representation of desserts, or
Yeah.
I do a lot of burgers and a lot of steaks, things like that. I was like, I'm going to have fun and play with something really feminine and light and beautiful. And I love those kind of shoots where you're not really locked into a recipe. You can just kind of go to the grocery store and see what's in season and what's really beautiful. And you just kind of, whatever's there speaks to you. And that's just kind of what ends up being in the photo.
Mhm.
So that one, it was really fun. But if you see that image, that cake is not fully iced at all. The
Uh-huh.
entire bottom of all the backside of that cake is completely propped up, because if I really had iced it, because it's whipped cream, it's so delicate and light,
Mhm.
that sucker would have been leaning and falling and not dependable and structured at all. So it's that illusion of like, look at what this epic cake was that I made, but really like the back half is just propped, which is lovely. But I loved that the way Kyle shot that is he did two totally different lighting setups on that. So one is very harsh light, big shadows, and then he did it again with super soft, delicate, poetic lighting. And it was amazing. It's like the exact same cake, completely different results based on his vision, which is great.
Turned out so beautifully. And I was going to ask you about the whipped cream. Did you do like when the filling, is it traditional whipped cream or is it Cool Whip or is it Dream Whip? How did you do the whipped cream part?
No, gosh, that was a long time ago. I don't
So
remember.
like beautiful and perky and like it set really well because like in food styling, sometimes we need chemical help for these things because traditional whipped cream doesn't always last like we want it to and it can make things kind of sink a little bit. So I was
Yes.
really intrigued about if you remembered what you did with that.
So a product I really like to use quite a bit if whipped cream's involved is this stuff called Richos. You can usually get
Oh,
it at
I've never heard of this.
GFS. There are two versions. There's like the
Okay.
made with real cream. Don't get that version.
Okay. Okay.
It's probably much more delicious and much more healthy. It
Right.
falls apart. It aerates. This
Right.
other stuff, I have no idea how it's actually made.
Yeah.
Once you actually form it, it will never move the rest of the day. It stays exactly out as it will. So it's really like a dreamy product for a stylist where you need something to
Yes.
really stay perfect all day long.
Yes. Yes. And that is the knowledge that stylists carry. Like we
Yep.
develop this like
Yes.
litany of products over time. They're like, okay, we need whipped cream for this. Which
Yep.
product is in my mind select is gonna last how I want it to last, right? And like
And
how
that
is the lighting in
and
it?
that was totally picked up from another stylist
Yeah,
working with it. I was like, oh, that product, great idea. That's
I
a
love that. Okay, so on that note, is there a favorite product that you always like to have in your kit that you're like, I cannot do a shoot without this one product that really helps me? Is there one on the top of your mind?
makeup sponges.
Okay, I love
Those
it.
little
Okay, tell me
triangular
why.
makeup sponges, those prop anything I need. They're a little bit of rubbery and a little bit of texture so they stay in place.
Mhm.
Super reliable, really cheap, washable.
Yes,
Minus beverages, I use that in almost every food shoot, I would
yes,
say. Because
yeah.
sometimes you need like the bun tilted just a smidge more to camera, even though in real life it looks like it's flying, but it's all about what the camera sees. It looks right on camera.
That's right. We need to do
Yep.
like because I also love to style burgers. So maybe you and I need to do a whole episode just on how like stylists build a burger for fast casual restaurants or whatever shoot we're working on because there's so many tiny little details that go into making that bun perfect to making the burger lie flat. Like it's super fascinating to me. And I actually have people ask me about it a lot because
Yeah.
they're like, wait, this looks so different from what I'm getting in person. How did you even do that? And I'm like, well, it's
You,
art,
you
science,
take
magic.
you take your time. I had this funny idea, like, wouldn't it be funny to have a restaurant that is run by stylists? And so your food takes
Oh,
maybe 3 hours to get, but it is the most beautiful burger you've ever seen. It
yes,
just took forever. Because
yeah,
that is the biggest trick to food styling. It just takes time. You
yeah.
go slow and you consider every detail.
That's right. So the
Yep.
name of the restaurant will be Don't Come Hungry. Like
Yeah, exactly.
come like full because you're gonna have to wait a really long time to get your food.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, so in going through your site, I also noticed all the work you've done with Kentucky particular brands. And tell me about that. Tell me about why you love working with the state of Kentucky, Kentucky bourbon, all those fun things.
Um, let's see. I think it's honestly it I never ever planned to live in Kentucky as an adult
Oh,
ever. From the time I was a small child, my goal was to get out of here. I mean, I'm going to travel, I'm going to
yeah,
venture, I'm going to the West Coast and whatever. Life puts you
yeah,
sometimes where you're supposed to be, and it's kind of been this fun experience in my professional career to not only be in my home state,
right.
which I was so resistant for, I don't even know why, just cause.
Yeah.
Um, but then to also have these jobs where I get not only exposure and educated on so many incredible things going on in our state, but then I get the honor of like working on these jobs that then promote all the beauty and wonderfulness things of our state. So it's very personal to me, I'd say.
You can tell because I feel like when you look at those images, they feel, and this is one of the things I love about you as an artist, Sarah, is your work to me really truly feels personal. It feels really important. Like it is important, obviously, but it feels unique to, I feel like I can tell when you're involved with things. And I think that's really special. And can you tell me a little bit about that? Like, how do you feel like you bring sort of a personal affection or touch to these images? Like, what are things you're thinking about?
I'm a taskmaster, and like whatever job I've got, I take it very serious. I have a big work ethic. I'm going to be very prepared. I'm
Yes.
going to try to honor as best I can and keep fiddling on the shoot until it's really right. And sometimes in the beginning of your career, it takes a while to get to the point where you have the confidence in a shoot to say, you know what? I'm going to redo that. I don't like the way the sauce looks.
Yeah.
And they're still going to call you back. They're not going to freak out, even though maybe we're going to get a little delayed on the shot.
Mhm.
schedule, everyone's going to agree. And that's really what everyone's depending on you as the stylist role to make those kind of calls.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so yeah, it's the details, the problem solving.
Mhm.
And in our role, it's like we're stylists, but a lot of times we're art directors.
Yes.
Not to discredit art directors that are there.
Sure.
Sometimes they're on set. Sometimes you still have a lot of input in how something should be looked or laid, because sometimes the way it's drawn does not translate to
Mm.
camera. And so it's kind of this team effort to figure out how best to build
Mm.
the vision and keep to what they were going for, but with the reality of what we're dealing with on set.
For sure. Okay, so talk to me about that, because I think one of the things people don't know about stylist is a huge part of our role is client management. Like a lot of times by the end of the day, and this is again, no disrespect to art directors, I hope I get to have some art directors on the podcast, is that at the end of the day, it is me and the client holding hands and like walking through the day. It is sort of me, you, obviously, the food stylist is talking them through the reality of what food is doing and how it's going to respond. And you end up sort of being more of the one-on-one with the client.
Yep.
How do you manage that? And how do you not sort of get stressed out by that?
Uh, okay, so I live by a mantra on set.
Tell
I
me, so
really
helpful.
try to be no stress on set. And
Yeah.
I really feel the biggest way to do that is to be very prepared. Pre-production is incredibly important on our side of the things, getting
Yeah.
so many answers, clarity. So we have everything we need, and we have to anticipate a lot because there's
Sure.
always changes. They
Sure.
may say they want blue, but you're like, I'm pretty sure they might want pink. I'm
Yeah.
going to make sure I have pink on hand also.
Yes.
Um,
Get a gut
but
feeling like I think I need to have pink on set too. I think there's
yeah,
something about that.
if I just feel like it, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But big mantra, I try to keep perspective. I'm like, guys, we're not curing cancer.
Yeah.
We're not saving lives.
Yes.
Nobody needs to be that freaked out that I don't know what, this isn't working. Like, let's pivot. We got to be able to pivot. And so I really try to keep that approach and not hold too steadfast to their ideas or my ideas. And we just kind of all need to keep working to accomplish the goal. But again, we're not saving lives. Got to keep that perspective, the
Yeah.
importance of what we're doing. Ultimately, we're making beautiful images, and I take it very seriously, but really we're making images to sell a product to somebody.
Yes.
Does that change in the world? I don't know. I don't know if it is or not, but
Yeah, I think it's so helpful for every to start like, and well, let's talk about that really quick because then we're gonna wrap up because my free Zoom account's about to run out. So I also have a mantra, and it's interesting because my mantra is always at the end of the day, I really want people to feel seen and heard and loved, because like what's that? It's that I love that quote. It's like people may not always remember what you do, but they're going to remember how you made them feel.
Maya
And
Angelou, isn't that who said that?
say that again.
I think it's Maya Angelou that
Maya
said that.
Angelou. Okay, thank
And
you,
you do
Maya.
that. You do that. You affect people in that kind of way. I think you live successfully by that mantra.
Oh, well, that means a lot to me because that really, and I even like my assistants, I will tell them the same thing. This is the most important thing to me is that we make people feel loved and seen and heard. And I think sometimes, just like your mantra on being prepared, that diffuses a situation. Like
Mhm.
when you can come to a client like you have and say, oh, I know you want to blue, but hey, I have pink. And like maybe that might be good for you. Or for me, it's like, I want to hear what you, sometimes I'll say to people, tell me more about that.
Yeah.
Those are both things. So I guess I would love to hear, is that your career advice? Like say someone's getting into styling, what is a great piece of advice for them? Is it to have a mantra? Like what do you think is the most helpful thing that you do as a stylist that keeps you successful?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's a big question.
I think it's like multifold. I think
Uh,
that you have to have endurance. You have to have
yes.
mental and physical endurance. And I was an athlete up through college. And that's another part of the puzzle of my past. I'm like, I think I was built for this. I
Yes.
know how to get to the point where you think the shoot's done and actually we're going to go 2 hours into overtime. And you're like, oh, I'm kind of spent. Okay, let's dig down and find more energy to keep going. And it is a lot more communication than I think I anticipated. I'm a visual person. I don't do words as easily as sometimes I'm like, just let me show you what I mean really quick. But I think it's a lot of listening interpreting and then executing and making sure and checking in. It's a little bit like a therapist. You're just like checking in, like, did I do that right? Is that like, are you approving of this theory? Does this, like, my idea, I know it's a little bit different than yours, but how does it make you feel? And but I think ultimately remembering to your role's important,
Mm-hmm.
but being kind is even more important.
Come on.
It is a group environment.
Mm-hmm.
And that is also part of like maintaining this peaceful set environment. You are very much one piece of the puzzle. It's lots of people working together, which is, I honestly think, where the real magic comes from. You end up doing incredible work that you by yourself could not do. Yes, I have a photography background. I couldn't do half the images if I was styling and shooting myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in that world anymore. Like, I absolutely depend on the skill of others, and I'm dependent on the producer that's managing the client, that's keeping everyone on schedule. That's, all those roles. It's really super important. But I think at the end of the day, like, when you share sets with kind, creative people, it's the best feeling in the world. The set life and the cool factor of set life has never ever worn off. I think it's going to. And I get in another set with brand new people, I'm like,
Yeah.
it's magical. It's really magical. I mean, and I love those like multi-day sets where it's a multi-day shoot, and maybe it's a brand new group of people and no one really knows each other very well. So everyone's being very polite and minding their manners. And then by day 5, you've worked 5 12-hour days.
Sweating.
Know people real well.
Yeah.
You're bonded for life. It's
Yeah.
not like you've gone through a war, not to make it sound like that, but you've gone through something together. And it's awesome. It's like for life. You and I will be bonded because we were up till 12:30 at night on a ridiculous shoot executing the project, and we got it done. And you still see the images, and you're like, I love that. That still looks great to me.
Yes, the good, the bad, and the ugly together definitely forms a bond that lasts forever.
Yep.
Oh, those are all brilliant pieces of advice. Okay, Sarah, man, I think the thing I've loved about our chat today is I feel like I have so many little nuggets to be thinking about and to be contemplating, which is one of the things I love about you is you always bring that. But so to wrap up today, I always ask this question, and that is, what does beauty mean to you? What does that look like in your life? Because I feel like all of these amazing creative people that we get to work with and I've gotten to talk to, they all carry this unique gift of beauty. So tell me about what that means to you, Sarah.
Beauty. I would say beauty, like really true beauty, is really effortless. And it's just unique, effortless, and it's natural. And I think in our role, it is sometimes recognizing when to stop. Like, oh, that's exactly where it needs to be. That's where it needs to be. And sometimes I'm asked, like, I can't really put into words. Like, I struggle sometimes. Like, could I train someone to do what I do? Like, I don't know if I can, because I really can't totally explain when I know to stop. Because look, it's doing it. It's got its attitude. Like, that's exactly where that mushroom needs to live. Like, ooh, the picture just came to life because of that one little drip. And you're like,
yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's really what it is. And that's it's interesting to be in a culture right now that is a lot of artificial beauty. So it's fun to be in the food world where I think most people think everything I do is fake. Every single thing that's on that item is fake. And I really burst a lot of bubbles when I'm like, actually, very little of what I do is fake. Majority is the real ingredients from that brand, from the restaurant. We've just taken our time to sort and pick the best version and cook that burger 5 times, not 1 time. And, taking that time to really allow it to be beautiful.
Oh, that's so good. That bit you said about knowing when to stop. That is spot on. Like that is spot on. And so much of what you said is spot on. But I feel like in a culture where it's like more is beautiful, more makeup, more shellac, more blah, it's like, and people thinking, oh, everything's fake. No, like there is such a thing about a food stylist that we have this moment. It's like in our soul. And I know this might sound silly, but this is what I want people to understand. There's this beautiful soul feeling you get when you're like, oh, this is done, or this is right, and the light is hitting this thing right at the right spot. We don't need anything else. It's
Yep.
just, it's almost like peaceful amidst the wildness of set. You're like, ah, okay.
Yep.
Get it. Oh, Sarah, you're just the best. I really am
Oh,
so honored that
thank
you wanted to share your time with me today. Thank you, friend.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks for asking me. It's,
You're
great
so
that you get to talk,
welcome. Oh
it's
my gosh.
rare you get to
So
talk
welcome.
to somebody,
Oh,
it's in the same world that you can talk freely with.
yeah.
Sometimes you got to be oddly guarded in this business, which I don't like
Mhm.
that feeling at all. So it's fun to be able to say, samesies. What wakes you up? What gets you excited about the shoot? How do you do this? How do you handle this situation?
Yes. And I hope that, like, one of my hopes with the podcast, I know I told you this, is that we can talk more openly about these things and we can
Yeah.
really like be here for each other in this, because there's such a unique excitement that comes from this niche passion that you have. And I want to share that with people. And I also want us to share it with each other and just have a great time talking about all these fun things.
Yep. I think it's an awesome idea. I think I really liked how you said you wanted to highlight the invisible people on set. And it's true. It's a very, here I am talking to you on camera. I'm a very behind the camera person. I
Mhm.
actually did a project for last week. It was an interview for school kids for like the Kentucky Department of Agriculture. They were trying to highlight various jobs that somehow were involved in agriculture. And the whole time I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm so nervous. Because I'm not on camera very often talking about what I do, even though I love what I do. But it is fun. Like, it's being in an advertising world. I don't do a ton of editorial stuff, so you're not going to see my name in a magazine in the little sidebar saying that I did this. And same with the photographers. Like, it's these awesome images are created. I was actually driving home from Nashville, I don't know, it was a couple of years ago, but as I was approaching Louisville, it was billboard after billboard after billboard, 4 in a row. I'm like, I did that. I did that one. Oh, I started that one. Oh, that's kind of funny. I did that one too. And it just kind of tickles you to see that work in the wild. But I love that you're taking the time, because it really is. It is not a village is what creates a beautiful image. It is not a solitary island.
Yes,
For sure.
110%. Yes. And that I share that. It's like, I want people to know about you. I want people to know who created this and who are the people that are making our visual lives better. Because sometimes we forget, we have a spiritual life, we have a physical life, but we also have a visual life, like of the things that we see on the daily basis, the things that bring us pleasure or joy or excitement. And food stylists, all different types of stylists, but we are part of enriching that life for people.
Mhm.
And I think that is sort of an unseen, unspoken for gratitude moment that we can say, hey, thank you for making that better for me, and thank you for getting me excited about, my pasta I'm about to eat, because this is amazing. And thank you for helping me want to buy this product, because this product's amazing. And I'm so glad that I have Rouse marinara now, because it's my favorite
Yeah.
marinara in all the world. Okay, Sarah. Well, thank you again so much for your time. We are so blessed to have you. You're amazing. Everyone, check out Sarah's site. And I will put all of her information in the show notes. Okay, sweet Sarah. I hope you have a wonderful, joyful, creative day today.
Thanks. You too.
Okay, bye, girl.